Welcome back, guys, to an all-new video game discussions. We've covered some major games that are upcoming, and I've got another one that's on my plate that I can't wait to sink my teeth into, and that is Back 4 Blood, the spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead franchise, which is being developed by Turtle Rock Studios, the same team that brought us the original Left 4 Dead game. Here with me today to talk about this is Alex Mason, UnrealEntGaming, founder of the UnrealNetwork. He's been here with me talking about some other major games, so I'm really excited that he is back again for the third time to talk to me about this exciting survival zombie game. Alex, thank you for your time on this. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me, man. This one's gonna be good. I'm so excited for this one.
So this one, okay, the most frustrating thing about the Left 4 Dead franchise is that we never got a Left 4 Dead 3. As we know, Valve does not care about having games get a third installment, okay? Like Half-Life comes to mind, Left 4 Dead comes to mind. There's a few, so we all get that. So it's very likely that Left 4 Dead 3 is just never, ever going to happen. However, I'm not as sad about that now because Back 4 Blood looks to not only do everything that I liked about Left 4 Dead, but to improve and expand upon that in so many different ways. So I wanted to talk about what this game actually is going to do for this genre, and if it does have the potential to replace Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 as a great future for surviving and slaughtering zombies in the mass. What do you think?
I really cannot wait to sink my teeth in this, only because I'm a huge fan of Left 4 Dead 2. And given the idea that they're modernizing this to make it feel eerily similar to, Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2, it's something that excites me only because I think that the possibilities for this are seemingly endless. The only problem I have is I really hope, because I've seen gameplay demo on this, I hope that the zombies aren't slow. There are a few that look sluggish and slow. And what made Left 4 Dead so terrifying was you didn't have that. You had these running, just fast zombies. Like, it was great because it kept you on your toes. I hope that here, if they are going to include slow zombies, I hope that they kind of mix it in with slow ones, fast ones, the special infected. I think those are going to be great. I believe they also have, I think the code name for it is the Ogre. He's huge, and he reminds me of the Behemoth from the game right now eludes me. Damn it. Evolve. And yeah. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him, because I hope that he's not one of these giant brainless infected that you can just take down just by moving away and shooting. I hope that this massive enemy gets to use the environment to his advantage, break down walls, break things down, throw cars at you, do whatever he can to get the better of you and just get a hold of you. I hate enemies that are easy to take down, so I hope that's not the case. I hope that he could take substantial damage and keep coming at you. Like the tank in Left 4 Dead was great because he took a lot of hits, but he was running at you like no matter what. Like as soon as he smacked you, he took a lot of health out of you. So that's one thing that I'm really hoping that the Ogre does. And just massacres you. But the game looks very, very promising, and which is one of the reasons why I can't wait for it. It's because Left 4 Dead, every single time you played it was different. So that's why I can't wait to sink my teeth in this, is because I want to be able to play with randos or my viewers or you or whoever and be able to have a different experience every single time we play, and a fun one at that,
Yeah, and I agree. And I think Left 4 Dead for me was just fun. If I was bored and I had nothing else to do and I was like, you know what, I just want to slaughter some zombies, and it was just mindless. I could just mow them all down. And that was pretty much all that I really thought about when I was playing that game. I didn't really care about the story despite knowing it and playing through the campaign. I just cared about slaughtering zombies, and that was as far as it went. The guns didn't really feel all that different. The gameplay didn't really feel that different. Yeah, I mean, there were circumstances when you run into boomers, smokers, jackals, whatever, different types of zombies that really altered the playing field for you and the survivors. But it does seem like this game is going to have a lot more dynamic of an approach, simply because of the introduction of cards. Now, these player cards is a function that is added to Back 4 Blood that allows players to have a certain advantage, which I think is going to do exactly what we want, which is to keep things fresh. It'll adjust health and damage and other various things as well. So each time you start a round, apparently, the game will allow you to pick a bunch of different cards and build your deck, which, like I said, includes the adjustments to how much damage output and receive that you get, the overall health that you have, the stamina that you got, presumably running, and maybe other elements to what stamina could be applied for, things like that. But the game also has an AI director which uses cards as well. And these are referred to as corruption cards that allow the game to work against you. So like if you've got cards and you're playing a hand, well, the game is going to double back on you and play a separate hand that's going to try and hinder your progress. And that's a direct quote from the official page, is the corruption cards will be used to alter the field that will allow it to like basically change the environment if it wants to activate fog and take away your vision, or if it wants to create an extra enemies and increase the size of the horde. That sort of thing is definitely going to make it feel a lot more different. Now, on the other side of it, too, is as fans of Left 4 Dead, we're accustomed to playing survivors that are full of fear, they're unsure, they're scared of what's going on, because who wouldn't be? Like, obviously, like, it's fun to play as a game, but if we were the ones in that position, holy shit, like, that would be really scary to deal with all that. But this time around, the plot has changed, and I wanted to ask you how you thought about this. So the plot is different. So the game focuses on the zombies are referred to as Ridden. Again, I feel like they're running out of different names to say undead or zombies. So Ridden is the name of these infected or diseased individuals. And this outbreak is starting to overwhelm the world in this post-apocalyptic scenario. And because of that, obviously, there's a lot of places that you can't go, or spaces and living areas that you can't occupy because it's filled with Ridden. So the players that we take on, or the characters we take on as players, are these cleaners. And their job is to go in and wipe out the zombies and make it safe for people to occupy those spaces, which means they're not scared because they're doing their job, and they're more confident and more competent in wiping out the zombie horde. So I wanted to understand a little bit more from another player point of view. What do you think about that? What's like, how do you think it's going to change the element of how we play?
I mean, I love it. I don't know how I particularly feel about the cards. I want it to where I just don't want to play an easy game, especially this. What made Left 4 Dead so great was the unpredictability factor and the essence of zombies always being around that could get the better of you. And I feel like that works in many ways than one. So I just really hope that with these cards, like as soon as you turn something on, I hope that the game recognizes that and that there's a counter to it. So let's just say, for example, if I decide to have a card that, you know, nerfs my weapon, or nerfs all of my, or not nerfs my weapon, but buffs up my weapon. They buff up my weapons. My weapons are completely buffed. My shotgun can do like a one-shot kill, whatever. Fine. So if my weapons are buffed, then I hope that the game recognizes that and it kind of counters you with adding in more enemies than you can possibly deal with. So instead of sending one ogre, it sends like 3. So it's like, okay, I have a really strong weapon, but how the hell am I supposed to utilize it when I am just being hunted down and by like everything around me? Like here, I thought I could take down one ogre with just a few shots, but now I have 3. So it's like, oh shit! Not only am I endangering myself by having more enemies, or at least, you know, a greater influx of them, but I'm also endangering my team. So if they go down, it's going to be 1 versus 100. So these cards, I don't know how to feel about them entirely yet because it's still new. I just hope that there are counters, so it doesn't place one specific skill set or 2 specific skill sets above the rest of the game to suggest like, okay, well, I can just go in this and just body everybody based on the cards that I have, because then it becomes boring. So when you start including all these cards that have all these effects and whatever, again, it just takes away so much because it just becomes so redundant. It's like, okay, well, I have all of these cards and all these abilities to do whatever with, but then it's like, what's the point of playing when it becomes so easy for you, you know?
Yeah, so it sounds like what you're saying is what you're hoping out of the game is that the cards add a dynamic effect that makes it fun, but not too easy because you still want a challenge. Is that about right?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I don't want it to be easy in the slightest.
Yeah, like I would say, like, if it's possible to have circumstances where you're surrounded by like hundreds and hundreds of zombies on screen, if not thousands, which is definitely possible. 2006's Dead Rising did the same thing, where you had one player and he was surrounded by literally thousands of on-screen zombies that if you see it, you can kill it. And I'm really hoping that we get something like that. If there is a possibility that there are stronger type enemies that take a few extra hits, or situations where we can get like a horde of thousands coming at you and we have to, like, the only way to beat them is to have more ammo, I think that would be really fun as one enemy type. Like, I want these Like, I would like to see some sort of pawns or peon type of enemies that there's just so many on screen. It's not so much the amount of health that they have that is the problem. It's the amount that there are on screen to make it complicated. And then have sort of like mid-tier enemies where they take multiple shots or they have some sort of special ability. And then you have like the god tier enemies like the ogre that we talked about, which I'm really looking forward to that, as you said, as being something that can destruct or interact with the environment and not necessarily have a predetermined path. Like we saw, I think, in one of the trailers, that there's an ogre that pops out of the road. He looks like some sort of volcanic creature that just erupts out of the street, and he follows the survivors into sort of like an underpass or sort of area, and he rips off the gate. He tears down a pillar, tears down some of the ceiling, and that's really cool. But I don't want that to be something that happens every time. Like, if the players stay outside, I want that to be something that you can interact with them and fight them there. Or if you run into a different sort of position into that underpass-like area, I want to see him do different things. I want to see that being fresh, and I think that's a big part of how this game could be.
Speaking of, I don't mean to cut you off. You just brought something up very interesting. So he's huge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I hate? I can already see it coming, and I really hope that they change this to where they draw you out. Oh, man. So the best escape against the ogre is to just run inside. I've seen that. I've seen people run in buildings. What's he going to do, right? So I'm really hoping that instead of him stopping at the door, there's something to imply or suggest him still pursuing you, still managing to kind of like either tear down the environment or find like another pathway to where it connects to where you're going, and then from there he can just like tear you up. I would really hate to see this concept idea to where all you have to do is run inside and that's it. That would be terrible, because like, what's the point? You know, like the tank, if I'm not mistaken, he was able to follow you inside places. He was huge, but he was still able to follow you. So like, that's what I kind of want here. I want it to where it's established to where even if they go inside, this big thing is going to either bust everything down to get to you, or he is going to figure out a way, like an alternate way to get to you, just like Nemesis did in the RE3 remake. Yeah. Like, he'll find like another way to get to you, and once he does, you have to deal with him again, you know?
I agree. Actually, that's a really, really good point. I know we saw in the trailer that they were able to escape by running away, which I agree was a little bit annoying, but they sort of countered that by allowing that gigantic ogre to reach into the area they were trying to escape, grabbing someone and squeezing him like a grape. So at least there's a little bit of like, okay, you're not entirely safe, but I figure the deeper that you go into smaller crevices, you could be able to escape, and I agree. I don't want that to be the case. I want to be forced into the fight, and I want to be able to feel that anxiety of trying to survive, because otherwise, like you said, what's the point? Like, what's the point of having this big bad if you can just outrun him because he's slow, or you can hide in a small space to get away because he's so big? Like, I don't want that to be the case. I agree. Actually, that's a very, very good point. But either way, the way that the visuals are in the game is another major improvement. Now, naturally, it's going to be, because it's been a very long time since we ever saw any major changes to Left 4 Dead. I know Left 4 Dead 2 had like some major update that was done by the fans that received praise and approval from Valve to actually publish to Steam. So there was a recent update, but it wasn't. I mean, I played it. It wasn't that great. I mean, it was nice to see that there were some different feels to the weapons. There was like an alternate ending. It was fine. Like, it felt better than the original game, but it wasn't enough to slake my lust for a sequel. I thought it was great. They put a lot of work in, and there's obviously a lot of mods for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, but this game is an official, what I think could be a replacement entirely for both of those games, with not only the way that the guns are going to feel in hand, the challenges that we're going to face, the visuals that you can see. I mean, it looks truly amazing. The only thing that does sort of hold me back is knowing that this game is scheduled for a June 22nd, 2021 release date, which I hope that gets pushed back just to make sure that it's like fine and ready, is that it's also going to be developed and available for PlayStation 4 and current Xbox One platforms. So it's going to be available for everything: PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, Series S, and PC. But I feel like at this point, like, you're just trying to double dip on the cash by making games for that because you're holding yourself back. You can't really have the same experience on a PS4 to PS5, and you can't really develop different games in that way. So you're basically just going to be getting a PS4 game that runs a little bit better on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S platforms a little better respectively. So I don't know. I'm a little concerned by that. Do you think the game has a possibility of holding itself back by being for PS4 and Xbox One halfway through 2021?
Absolutely not. No, they have the perfect room for them to grow and expand. I think it's needed, and I think for them to kind of expand their horizons, it'll make sense to put it on everything. But I'm not. I don't want to sit there and say like, oh yeah, so like if you put it on PS4 and not PS5, it's going to destroy your product. Not at all. Could it possibly hinder on it? I doubt that, but I think all in all, it's not really going to have any sort of negative impact if they put it on all consoles, because I think for them, it's like the more money they make, the better it is, so like it doesn't matter for them, I'd say.
Okay. And I think that you also bring up a good point that I didn't think about either, is that naturally you want to be able to reach as many people with a new IP, even if this is a spiritual successor of something else that follows a very almost near identical formula with some additional elements, but you want to reach as many people to get support for the game in order to add on more content in the future and different expansions, possibly sequels and all that. So that's a good point too. So yeah, I guess there are things to consider on both sides. Yeah, maybe this game comes out and it's not going to have the same like power kick to it that it would otherwise if it was just for next gen / current gen consoles as opposed to prior gen. But I think you make a very valid point to bring up the fact that, well, it also needs to reach as many people as possible. And plus, I think even still, if June 22nd comes around and the game does release on that time and it does come out well, most people are still going to have PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles more than, say, Xbox X and S and PlayStation 5, rather. So, I mean, I think that's also important to think about, too. So that's a very good point. Is there anything that you're hoping this game does to improve over Left 4 Dead, or anything that you know that's got you super duper hyped that's a major improvement or a major leap ahead in the future of gaming technology? I mean, what else you got feeling for this?
I'm not sure if they got customization options yet. If they do that's going to be like amazingly solid, but I just hope that there's more enemies, there's more action on screen. And I hope that the journey to getting to the safe house or whatever is a lot longer and it's a lot more beneficial in terms of payoff. I want to be able to grab on to subscribers or friends or whoever and just go. Just just let's grab our stuff, upgrade our weapons, and let's just go. So not really much to say other than I don't like the slow zombies in a game like this, because in a game like this, I feel like you have to move fast, meaning like your opposition. Especially if you're going to be having all these cards and you're going to be like, you become super OP. I think that's kind of like diminishing, because it's like, oh, I have all these OP, cards and upgrades and whatever, but the enemies are like slow, goofy zombies. Like that's just kind of like, all right, whatever. But all in all, I just feel like when it's all said and done, I think that this game is going to add a lot of merit to its overall value, but I'm just hoping that it's longer. There's more upgrades, more maps, more openness to the game for us to like. Let's just say if we're outside, it's like, oh, quick, we can't be out here. Let's go to this store here, or let's go to here. Like there's more of an option for us to go places, instead of it being so linear. So that's just my hopes for it.
I think there's a couple things that you said that I want to touch base on. So the first thing is regarding the safe house. So I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do that per se. I think when we saw the gameplay trailer or the footage, the only footage that really is out there, it looked like they were headed to a similar safe house or safe space behind a closed red door. I think that's what I remember. I might be mistaken. Correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong. But the game's creative director, Phil Robb, he was touching base on how the cleaners are going to be more confident and competent, like I mentioned before. That's where I got that. And he was talking about how they differ from the Left 4 Dead sort of players. And obviously, as we talked about, they have a role in this. They're clearing out zombies for the sake of having safe space, and they're not afraid of the zombies per se. Now, he said that he says, and I quote, he says that they are not merely surviving and finding safe places because they're fighting zombies to create safe spaces. So I wonder exactly what that's going to look like. And I feel like in the past, in Left 4 Dead, you could easily run past a lot of different areas and leave some zombies standing if you wanted, and get to another area to get to the safe house or safe spot, and then load the next level. So if these are cleaners, I feel like the objective might be more so to clear out every zombie in order to appease level completion. Now, on the other hand of it is, I'm looking at the promotional material, and Back 4 Blood has what looks like to be near countless zombies on screen in the promo material. Granted, the gameplay that we've seen does not show that. It does not show that many zombies on screen, or that many zombies that the player is facing all in one. And granted, it's also not it's not the definitive end-all footage, and we don't know how it's going to change. We don't know what other experiences a player is going to take on when they play the game. But I wonder how many zombies are going to be on screen if the objective as a cleaner is to literally clean out the area of infected Ridden. So that is something else that I wanted to touch base on, because I'm going to be really annoyed if the promotional material shows hundreds of zombies on screen and that's not how the game actually is. Like, I want to feel near overwhelmed, and I want to be concerned with the amount of ammo that I have. I want there to be an experience where I am like, okay, do I need to be conservative? Do I just stand here and mow all these zombies down? Like, what's the move? What do we do? Like, that's how I want to think. As for the in-game character, I mean, it sounds like they're going to be confident and cocky and just doing their job, but I am curious as to how that plans out. Now, you also mentioned the linear path that a player takes. I agree that it'll also be very annoying. I don't want there to be a point A to point B and then maybe an objective or two in between where we have to kill every zombie that's just in our path, so we can like hit a breaker box and restore power to an area and then jump into the next stage in the level. That would be a little annoying. It would be nice if there was a lot of different areas like buildings and rooms and other things that we have to go in because we have to clear out all the zombies. I think that would be fun. So I don't know. There's still so many more questions that I have with this. I'm just excited that we are going in the direction of a successor for Left 4 Dead, since clearly Valve doesn't want to lift a finger to do anything else. They've left the community to do that.
Well, I mean, to close this off, I feel like the game's gonna be worth it. If anyone's questioning, oh well, the game's gonna be trash. No, the game's gonna be worth it. I just hope that it's not in a sense where like you have to clean out everything because you're labeled as the cleaners. Because then it's like, okay, well, we could just stay in this one area forever because we don't have to worry about zombies.
That's true.
And that just kind of becomes a little boring. It's like, all right, what are we gonna do? Just stay here? I mean, there's a reason why you have a safe house. Is to get there because you're safe. So I just feel like you should constantly be attacked. But I just think that also I'm just excited to see what this is gonna hold for us, because like you said, Valve isn't really known for like trilogies, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah. So
this is the next best option outside of just having modded games from fans and stuff. So all in all, the game is definitely going to be worth it, I think. And I just can't wait to see what's going to happen as soon as it unfolds. Is it going to be better than Left 4 Dead? Chances are, based on the way it looks visually, yes.
Yeah.
But gameplay wise and whatever else is thrown in there, gotta wait and see.
Yep. There's still several months between now and the release date. I'm surprised that we haven't gotten a lot more. I think that there was an alpha or a beta limited access. I tried to sign up for it and try to get in there, but I couldn't, so I didn't get a chance to play, which really bummed me out. But they said that there was going to be more opportunities for that in the future, so be on the lookout for that between now and June 22nd, the game's current release date. The game releases June 22nd, 2021 for Microsoft Windows, likely Steam, I believe, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. So pretty much whatever platform you got your hands on, you should be able to play the game. If you guys have any feedback or any input, any comments, leave it down in the section designated for such below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Thank you, Alex, for joining us on this episode dedicated to Back 4 Blood. I'm really looking forward to talking more about this in the future and playing it with you when the game comes out. So I know you're busy, and I really appreciate you carving out some time to talk about this.
No, thank you, bro. I can't wait to play with you and everybody else, because I'm one of those that, like, when you get to the safe house, I'm like, yo, come on in, come on. I'll just shut the door in your face and just watch the horde.
Great, cool. So I'm just going to be left out to die. Fantastic. Really looking forward to that, too. Bro. All right, well, the game is single player and multiplayer, 4 players on screen, just like Left 4 Dead, or 8 in multiplayer. So presumably you'll have an opportunity to play not only the cleaners, survivors, in addition to zombies. So a lot of stuff that you love about Left 4 Dead will be present in Back 4 Blood. We'll have more information on this later when more information becomes available and gameplay becomes available, and we'll share that as well. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to follow and support Alex. His social media and his YouTube channels are down in the description box below. Be sure to hit the like button if you're excited about Back 4 Blood, or if you're thrilled about this video and what the future holds for this new upcoming zombie franchise. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and I appreciate it. And again, leave your comments and we'll try to get to every single one that we can. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time when we have a brand new video game discussion video. Take care, everyone.